Hello and welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Justina, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to discuss the astrology of December 2025 for each rising sign. I will cover 4 events for each sign, and this is the full moon in Gemini happening on December the 4th. We've got also Neptune stationing direct in Pisces at 29 degrees, Mars in Capricorn as of December the 15th, and also there's a new moon in Sagittarius happening on December the 20th. So here I follow Western Astrology Tropical Zodiac, and these horoscopes are most accurate for your rising sign, aka ascendant sign, but you can also watch them for your moon sign or your sun sign just to get a bigger picture and a wider perspective upon your life. So here I'm returning to my old format from a while ago, and I'm just going to record this video in this way without sharing a chart today. It's just the quality of this camera is much better than the one I use for when I share content with you, like charts. All right, so let's dive straight into it. So we start from the first sign, so Aries. So here, thank you very much, and let's begin. All right, so hello Aries, and welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So here we start this month with a full moon in the sign of Gemini happening on the 4th at 13 degrees. So have a look in your chart if you have any placements in one of the multiple signs. So that will be, of course, Gemini, Sagittarius, but also Pisces or Virgo. This is really significant, of course, when a natal planet is activated during a full or a new moon. There is usually more happening in our lives. But overall, this full moon activates your 3rd house. So here, the 3rd house is associated with anything to do with our communication, anything to do with words, our thoughts, thinking processes, anything to do also with decisions. So very often with a full moon in the 3rd house, there is this turning point, major revelations, major realizations, decisions we need to make or take, choices as well. Now, of course, Mercury is now finally out of the retrograde phase, still in a post-shadow period, but at least out of the retrograde phase itself. But overall here, since the full moon is about culmination, endings, change of direction, and it acts as a point of release. During this time, you might find yourself finalizing some important written projects. This could be about signing new contracts. This could be about completing a learning journey of some kind, maybe. This could be about a driving license test, for example, some important contracts, short courses as well. But at the same time, with the 3rd house being also associated with movement and transportation, our immediate environment, short distance travel, for some, this energy could manifest as an action-oriented phase of the week, of the month, if you will. But at the same time here, this could also indicate that perhaps some kind of sibling involvement, perhaps they might need your support, perhaps you might be traveling. And overall here, during this time, we've got a karmic undertone taking place as well, being activated, because this full moon connects to the nodal axis by a square. So in karmic astrology, we would say that the moon, as well as the sun, acts as a skipped step. That's what happens when a planet or a luminary connects to the nodal nodes by a square. But here with this full moon activating the nodes, so it's not just that this energy has got this karmic undertone, because what does it actually mean? This means that the situations, events that occur around this time, they could feel fated. They could feel destined. as well. So keep this in mind. All right, so here we've got Neptune. Neptune will station direct at 29 degrees of Pisces on the 10th of December. So here on the 10th of December, Neptune stations direct at 29 degrees. So here, of course, the 29th degree is so-called a critical and erratic degree. This is happening in your 12th house. Now, when Neptune stations direct, of course, it begins to regain its strength, and we've got this forward momentum, a change of direction, and at the same time, this could also indicate that you will regain more clarity regarding matters that perhaps may have seemed confusing, clouded, perhaps throughout the year, but at the same time, this energy is deeply calming, deeply spiritual as well. So this could be also a moment of a deeper understanding of a certain situation, hidden, private aspect of your life as well. Things that perhaps are only kind of known to you. Now, this energy also offers insights, kind of spiritual awakening, spiritual healing. This sort of vibe is activated. But at the same time, we also have Mars, your ruler, changing signs and moving into Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation, a very strong placement for Mars, and that's on the 15th. So here with Mars moving into into Capricorn, which is your 10th house of career, public reputation, public image, professional growth, life direction, even if you're already retired. So a really strong placement for Mars. Whenever Mars changes signs as well, this also indicates that you often go through these shifts because that's your chart ruler. So your focus, since this is the ruler of your chart, so your focus shifts onto your ambitions, the milestones that you're trying to reach, your goals, objectives, especially those that you're trying to reach in these initial months or weeks of 2026. So Mars in Capricorn is very strong. It will square your ascendant degree at some point throughout the duration of this transit. So also keep track of the movement of this transit, but also overall, this is a very ambitious, goal-oriented, driven energy, an amazing energy for reaching your goals, milestones. It can make you more assertive, more confident in your public life, in your public world. This could also indicate finally more visibility, movement, forward momentum, you feeling more noticed, perhaps you taking a lead of a certain project. Opportunities could definitely come up because you can make really meaningful progress with Mars transiting your 10th house, being in Capricorn and also being your ruler. All right, so moving forward, and then we've got a new moon in Sagittarius on the 20th, and with this new moon happening at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. So yet again, a late degree, which could generally indicate this now or never feeling. I'm running out of time. I need to do it. But at the same time, we've got a few challenging transits taking place at this time as well, because this new moon connects to both Neptune and Saturn by a square, especially here we've got a very tense square to Neptune. And we've got Venus circulating around this new moon as well. And here, with new moons, of course, in your 9th house, this could be connected to a new direction, especially a new direction connected to your own growth, personal growth, maybe spiritual growth. The 9th house is connected to astrology as well. This could be also connected generally to perhaps some new chapter in your in a career, especially connected to travel, legal matters. Now, this could be also connected to publishing, an opportunity to expand your for growth, for spreading your wings. It's a very ambitious energy that is circulating overall in your life around December. But here, generally, the square to Neptune could trigger some doubts. It could trigger or awaken your inner critic. It could make you question yourself as well. So here you need to trust yourself. You need to trust your own skills, capabilities. If something isn't clear around this time, clarify, ask questions. You don't have to have all the answers at once. And with Venus influence being in the same sign as this new moon, it brings a lot of supportive energy. So this could indicate some supportive feminine, female energy, perhaps someone who believes in you, someone who stands by you, someone who sees a potential in you, helping you to navigate some challenging energies or some doubts you might be experiencing around this time. So thank you very much, Aries, and I wish you a productive month. And let's have a look at the next sign. So that's Taurus. Taurus, welcome to your November 2025 monthly horoscope. So here we start with a full moon in Gemini happening on the 4th of the month at 13 degrees of Gemini. So here a full moon in your second house. So your second house in your birth chart is connected to money, finances, anything to do with your resources, possessions, self-worth, personal values. But it's important to understand that the second house is the house that indicates and the money that we earn through our own skills. It's not the money that's given to us. That would be the 8th house. The second house is connected to financial autonomy, independence, freedom. So a full moon often brings what seemed unclear, confusing to light. It brings us more clarity. Now, the Gemini energy can be very changeable as well. And this generally a full moon could signal a potential resolution of a really significant financial matter that has been on your mind, that you've been dealing with. Perhaps you're finalizing an important negotiation connected to money, some important contract, for instance, as well. Of course, the sun is in the 8th house, the house of debts, investment. So maybe this could be also connected to some people to a potential completion of a debt repayment as well, since we've got a full moon. This is a full moon, so both areas of life are activated during this time. Now, on a different level, this full moon could also indicate that perhaps you'll be finalizing a major purchase. So this will depend on your circumstances, of course, but here, because this full moon forms a challenging alignment as a square with the nodal axis. So we've got a square to the north node, a square to the south node, coming from both the sun and, of course, the full moon. So here with the nodal axis being so active during this time, there is a karmic undertone connected to this full moon, but also something could feel pretty destined, fated as well. This is often the case when the nodes are activated during a full moon especially. But at the same time, the square could also indicate a sense of pressure that could help you to reach or create more security in your life, more stability as well. So here, as we move forward on the 10th of December, Neptune will station direct at 29 degrees of Pisces. So here, the 29th degrees of Pisces, this is so-called an anaretic or a critical degree, if you will. So as of the 10th, moving forward, Neptune will start to approach Aries and it will never come back to Pisces in our lifetime. So this is a huge, huge deal. Now, Pisces, this is your 11th house, and the 11th house deals with our friendships, our network, group activities, anything to do with teamwork, your long-term goals, good fortune, and luck. So So with Neptune stationing direct in this area of your chart, this definitely brings a shift of energy. It can bring more clarity, especially when it comes to some potential misunderstandings that you may have experienced with a friend, with an acquaintance. But at the same time, this energy also may help you to reconnect with someone that perhaps you've been missing, that you haven't seen or spoken to for quite some time. So this energy can help you to harmonize, to balance connections that you truly care about. Now, on the 15th, on the other hand, Mars moves into Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation, so a very strong placement for the planet Mars. Now, this is in your area of the ninth house. So the ninth house deals with adventure, exploration, learning, higher education, legal matters. So this transit can bring a lot of eagerness to travel, to spread your wings. And you might feel very passionate about a certain destination. Perhaps you might be booking a foreign trip, a holiday. There's a lot of also need to explore, to learn new things. So a wonderful transit for learning, for engaging in educational activities matters, for going to workshops and webinar, attending webinars, anything that can help you to grow, to learn new skills, to refresh old skills. And this is also a good transit, a positive, beneficial energy for making progress in anything to do with legal matters, legal cases as well. And finally, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 20th of December at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. So a late degree of lunation indicates a potential feeling of urgency, like you're running out of time and perhaps you need to you need to accomplish this goal, launch this idea as soon as you can. Now, we've got a few challenging alignments at this time. So this new one is a bit tricky, but we've got also Venus circulating around this new one, trying to balance out the confusing energy between the new moon and Neptune. We've got a very, very tense square, and also a square with Saturn in Pisces as well, but much more profound energies between the new moon and Neptune because it's at a very similar degree. So this energy could manifest as potential delays, things being on hold. Perhaps there could be some confusing energy that will require a little bit of effort, a little bit of energy as well, clarification. If something isn't clear, clarify. But here overall, this new moon is taking place in your 8th house. The 8th house deals with investments, debts, credit card statements as well. Anything to do with also people that help us with the numbers, finances, for example, in our business. So like an accountant, perhaps this could be about reaching out and seeking help with accountant or insurance or an insurance company or a mortgage broker. So overall here, during this time, allow extra time to deal with some complex, detail-oriented work like taxes, personal tax returns, which are due at the end of January here in the United Kingdom. But at the same time, this new moon also is connected to deep emotions, deep feelings, emotional or financial entanglements as well, which you might be resolving, approaching, dealing with. But whatever the scenario, we've got Venus here that really brings a lot of favorable energy, allowing you, helping you to achieve beneficial results. We'll explore it further and deeper, closer to the date. Thank you very much, Taurus. Have a wonderful month. And now let's have a look at Geminis. Geminis, welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So here we start this brand new month with a full moon happening in your sign. So this is actually a really important month, Geminis, for you. Now, November could have been slightly disruptive because, of course, Mercury was retrograde. But here, in December, you will likely feel much more alive, much more noticeable, much more energized. And this is because, first of all, we start with a new full moon in Gemini happening on the 4th of December as we begin this brand new month. And this full moon is happening at 13 degrees of Gemini, and it's happening in your first house. It's a really significant turning point for you, dear Geminis. Of course, whenever there's a full moon in our sign, this is significant because things happen. So there could be a change of direction you might be experiencing, a significant culmination of a major goal, project, idea, or perhaps a shift of your sense of your mindset even. Maybe this is a time when you want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your style, for example. Maybe this full moon could indicate a major turning point in your life, in your career as well. Now, here, of course, the solar point is in your area of relationships. So here, this could potentially indicate some changes in the relationship dynamics, in your routines, for example. Perhaps some of your goals, objectives could come to fruition. This could be a moment of recognition, major realizations as well. But at the same time, this full moon also forms a square to both the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo. So there is a karmic element attached to this full moon, as well as destined, fated feeling energy as well. Like it's kind of meant to happen. It was meant to happen. You might actually hear yourself or your friend with a similar rising sign or sun sign saying that. So the way this could manifest overall, very often with these karmic energies being activated, something can kind of end in our lives, but at the same time, a new beginning emerges. So whatever was out of alignment, whatever fulfilled its purpose, it's naturally going to lead to something more in alignment to appear. So essentially, this full moon offers this amazing opportunity for growth and for transformation. Now, as we move forward, Neptune stations direct in Pisces at 29 degrees. So the 29th degree carries this feeling of urgency. It's a karmic, also called an anaretic degree. This is happening in your 10th house of career, your public life direction, overall your public image. So generally with Neptune stationing direct after months of a retrograde period, it generally offers or it brings a moment of clarity, especially to matters related to your career, professional life growth, development, as well as your public life direction overall. So anything that felt confusing, anything that you were unsure about, especially in connection to the direction that you're heading with your life, with your career, now you'll begin to gain more understanding, have more clarity, and it will be easier to make better, more aligned decision. Neptune stationing direct will also give you this amazing opportunity, potential, and to see your goals more clearly. As we move forward on the 15th, Mars enters Capricorn, a very strong and comfortable placement for Mars. Mars is in Capricorn, this is its sign of exaltation. So here, the area of Capricorn in your birth chart, that's the area of the 8th house, so shared and joint resources, deep financial, emotional matters, energies, and also this is the area of transformation, deep connection. So with Mars entering this area of your life, Mars brings a lot of passionate energy. This is actually a really comfortable house placement for Mars because The eighth house is traditionally associated with Scorpio, and Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So generally here with Mars transiting your eighth house, this could be about making major milestones, forward steps in your area of investment, finances that involve others, like taxes, investments, your partner's income. This transit brings a lot of motivation, and it's a good time for generally for working with your money, for finding ideas for your money to work for you. But at the same time here with Mars in the 8th house, a wonderful time for healing, for having therapy sessions as well. There is a lot of eagerness, motivation to deal with the complex, more complex issues of life. And we end the month with a full moon happening on the 20th at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, and this is happening in your 7th house. So the 7th house, this is the area of relationships, unions, partnerships. New moons bring new beginnings. It's a brand new cycle. Of course, at 28th degree, which is a late degree, often brings that feeling of now or never, or I'm running out of time, and generally, we've got a few challenging alignments here. But first of all, here, this new moon could indicate that you're entering a brand new phase, a brand new chapter in your relationship. Maybe this could be about signing some important contracts, agreements. Maybe this could be about a potential business partnership that you're entering. But something to remember here is that we've got a square to Neptune, a very tight square to Neptune, and also a square to Saturn. This energy could bring a certain degree of confusion, lack of clarity, or uncertainty. So it's really essential to remember to distinguish fantasy from reality. Be realistic about your expectations, about your goals, about what is possible at this point in your life here, especially within your involvement with others. But at the same time, Venus is also circulating around this new moon, so it brings a lot of stabilizing and harmonious, beneficial energy. All right, so thank you so much, Geminis. Have a wonderful month ahead, and let's have a look at Cancers. Hello, Cancers, and welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So here we start this brand new month with a full moon happening on the 4th of December at 13 degrees of a Gemini. So here, Gemini, this is your 12th house. So a lunation in the 12th house often makes us more withdrawn. And this is a time for reflection, for slowing down. And during this time, you might feel more drained, and it's very easy to absorb other people's energies, emotions, external energies overall. So generally, this is a time, and really time to generally spend time in nature. It's a good time for recharging yourself. But how do you recharge? How do you recharge your energies? Do you recharge your energies through spending time on your own, or with someone close to your heart, through reading? Whatever it is, this is an ideal lunation for dedicating some time on activities that help you to recharge yourself. Maybe this is a nice soothing bath. But here overall, the 12th house full moon in the changeable, mutable sign of Gemini here brings a lot of introspection, the need for withdrawal, solitude, contemplation overall. But at the same time, this lunation also forms a square to the north and the south node. So here the moon and the sun become the skipped steps, as we would call them in the evolutionary astrology. So there is a karmic essence undertone attached to the meaning of this full moon, which could generally manifest as you experiencing some event situations, or even having some thoughts that could feel destined, fated. Or perhaps you might experience a deja vu moment, which I actually haven't experienced for a very, very long time, but it could be the case. So overall here, with this full moon in the 12th house. This could be also about completing a major healing phase, a healing journey. Now, with the 12th house being the house of hidden matters, private aspects of our life, things that were hidden, misunderstood, unclear might come up to the surface. So this full moon brings more clarity. And at the same time, this is also a chance here, especially with the activation of the nodes, to move away, let go of the past, of an element of the past that doesn't serve you anymore, that potentially holds you back. All right, so then as we move forward, on the 10th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces at 29 degrees. So the 29 degrees is so-called an anaretic, aka critical degree, which here often gives this karmic undertone and a feeling of urgency as well. But overall, here, this is happening in your 9th house. And when a planet stations direct from a retrograde motion, there is this feeling of a forward momentum taking place, and the clarity that perhaps you may have lacked may finally return if you experienced some confusion around anything to do with matters connected to personal growth, development, travel, legal matters, for example, educational goals, objectives. Here, Neptune stationing direct helps you to clarify and generally gain more clarity of these matters, of things that were unclear, especially in connection to the 9th house energy. So this shift of energy brings overall a renewed sense of direction. Remember, this 9th house is the house of your life direction. So you might feel this shift of energy, a renewed sense of direction overall here, especially in matters connected to travel, education, immigration status, even if this is something you've been dealing with. Now, on the 15th, Mars moves into Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation, so a really, really strong dignity for Mars, a very strong placement. That's a terminology from traditional astrology. But overall, very strong placement, and this is in Capricorn, so that's the 7th house for you, the house opposing your 1st house, sort of dynamic, passionate. Remember, Mars is not just about aggression and war. It's also the planet associated with love and passion, passionate energy. So here, this transit can add a certain degree of intensity to your relationships, without a doubt, and lots of like a new dynamic in a way as well. This is a good transit for improving, for deepening even your connections with others, especially with those you truly, truly care about. Remember, these are the one-to-one connections, or a marriage, or an important partnership, for example, some kind of union. It's a good time for deepening these bonds, connections. But also this transit, it's good for resolving things that have been unclear. This transit brings a lot of ambitious energy, driven as well. So it's a good transit for making progress, especially here in partnerships on one-to-one basis. And we end the month with a new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 20th at 28 degrees. So another late degree of this one of these important events of December. And it's not a surprise. We are entering a very different, energetically speaking, here with especially starting with Neptune and Saturn conjunction. So, of course, we've got lots to also end as we move into 2026. But overall here, we've got some new beginnings associated, of course, with the energy of the Sagittarius new moon, even though the late degree could make us more impatient, more eager to act. But the square to Saturn and Neptune requires a little bit of caution. And here we've got Sagittarius, that's your 6th house. So it's a really good new moon for self-improvement, productivity, for lifestyle changes, health related changes, improvements as well. So here Neptune and Saturn could show you what's causing perhaps lack of structure in your life, especially in your daily life. What brings this feeling of something generally being disorganized in this routine? What's overwhelming? So it's a really an amazing lunation to work with what you already have, and for readjusting, restructuring your daily reality. Maybe this is about some changes to your work schedule. It's a good new moon for finding a good healthy balance, work and life balance. We've got also Venus. Venus brings a lot of supportive energy because, of course, the square to Saturn can bring delays. The square to Neptune could bring uncertainty, a certain degree of uncertainty. But here, Venus influence brings very supportive energy as well, and it can help you to make some really meaningful improvements, even though you might have to implement some effort and energy. All right, so thank you very much, Cancers. Have a productive month, and let's have a look at Leos. Leos, welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. All right, so we start with a full moon happening at 13 degrees of Gemini on the 4th of December. So what does it mean? So first of all, a full moon is connected to a major potential turning point, a culmination, strong realizations, with a full moon, first of all, happening in your 11th house. So that's the area of Gemini, mutable, changeable energy. And of course, Gemini energy is associated with communication. So here, the 11th house, of course, where this full moon is going to take place, it's associated with friendships, your community, your network, anything to do with your long-term goals and hopes and dreams for the future. And during this time, generally with full moon, it might be that someone close, maybe a friend, or it could be an acquaintance, someone from your network could need your help, could need your support during this time, could need your advice. Now, at the same time, if you have been involved in some group project, for example, then this project might, or perhaps your role within this project might reach a turning point, a culmination. Or perhaps there could be some significant changes happening within the project. So whatever the scenario, this full moon connects the nodal axis. So the nodes, the north node in Pisces, the south node in Virgo by a tense square. So here, with the nodes being activated, especially the south node, very often we deal with some karmic energies, and potentially whatever happens around this time, events, situations, conversations could feel karmic, could feel destined or fated. So the way this energy could manifest with the nodes being activated, it could potentially manifest as a change of direction in terms of a certain connection, friendship in your life, group project. Maybe this could be about letting go of any goals, objectives that perhaps are unrealistic or not achievable at this point in your life. So the nodes essentially act as a wake-up call when it comes to your path, your destiny in a way. And so here the shift related to a potential turning point, change of direction, in association with other people, group involvement, for example, your plans, your future plans that may likely occur around this time could initiate a really important moment in your life or a turning point. Now, on December the 10th, Neptune turns direct in Pisces at 29 degrees. So here, the 29 degree of Pisces is so-called, or any sign overall, is so-called a critical or an anoretic degree. So it's like it could bring that sense of urgency, like you're running out of time, like for example, you need to accomplish a certain goal objective before it's too late. So here Neptune will station direct in your 8th house, and the 8th house deals with shared and joint resources, possessions. This is the area of transformation, deep emotions, deep financial energies, entanglements potentially overall. So here Neptune's influence can really help you to clarify, to resolve any ongoing financial or emotional issue you've been dealing with for the last few months, especially anything to do with the 8th house energy. So debt, investments, deep emotions that need healing and releasing, letting go, partnerships potentially as well. Now here on the 15th, on the other hand, Mars moves into Capricorn, yes, the sign of its exaltation. So a really strong placement for Mars, very ambitious, goal-oriented transit. Capricorn, this is your area of health, well-being, everyday life, everyday routine. So generally this transit that will take over the second part of December and January, it will likely make you much more, or it generally offers an opportunity for you to become more productive, more consistent with your approach to certain objectives, certain matters. This is a good transit also for losing weight, because Mars is connected to metabolism and also physical energy in the 6th house. This transit can really motivate you can help you to stay motivated and consistent with your exercise routine, for example, with your gym sessions. So a really good transit for getting fit, for becoming more productive, more organized, and you will have to generally work on a consistent schedule in order for you to deliver, in order to accomplish everything you want to accomplish. But something to watch out for during this time is a potential burnout, because it's very easy to extend ourselves, to overpromise, overdeliver, without remembering to take care of our physical body. So definitely keep this in mind. And the final event of the month is the new moon in Sagittarius, happening on the 20th at 28 degrees. So another late degree of an important event of the month, which here gives that feeling of an urgency and impatience as well. But here, this new moon in Sagittarius, this is happening in your 5th house. So the 5th house, this is the area of children, creativity, conception, romance, love, creative self-expression. So it's a good time for starting some new hobbies, interests, for generally engaging in activities that bring joy and sense of pleasure, help you to reconnect with your inner child as well. This could be you also having conversations about parenting, about children, about having children, family planning. It's a time when you might go on a date. However, this lunation is quite complicated, because we've got a very, very tense square to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So this energy could bring self-doubt, uncertainty, especially if you're not grounded. This isn't a new moon for wishful thinking. It's a new moon to be realistic and grounded in the reality. Practical here, energy is activated as well. Now, because we of course also have a square to Saturn, and Saturn could bring delays. It could bring that sense of self-doubt. Can I do it? Am I good enough? Do I have sufficient experience, for example? This sort of inner critic vibe could also become awakened. So watch out for these sort of tendencies. But fortunately, we have Venus circulating around this new moon as well, which brings a lot of balancing and stabilizing energy. And it can really, really help you to enrich the experiences that you engage around this time. So thank you very much, Leos. Have a productive month. Thank you very much. And Virgos, welcome to your monthly horoscope for December 2025. We start this month with a full moon happening in the sign of Gemini at 13 degrees on the 4th of December. So a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in the opposing signs. The moon is fully illuminated in the sky. This is the middle of the lunation cycle, which indicates that our feelings, our emotions are heightened as well. So this full moon forms a square to your ascendant. So there is a little bit of tension, or maybe some kind of need to change your direction. Now, this is your 10th house as well. So the 10th house deals with your public life, outside world, and career, of course, career direction, professional life growth and development. So whenever there is a lunation activating our 10th house, this is when we become much more visible, noticeable. This could be a moment of recognition, important feedback that you might receive as well. And this could be a momentum, a forward momentum, a change of direction even in your career. And this could be a time when you might be making some important decisions in connection to your career direction, life direction, for example, in connection to your career, professional journey overall. However, this full moon also forms a square, which is a tense aspect to the nodes. We've got a square to the north node, a square to the south node. So in the evolutionary astrology, I would say that the moon is a skipped step. So what this means is that there is a karmic undertone, and whatever occurs around this time, it could feel destined or fated. Having said that, what this full moon might reveal also, or make you realize, it could make you realize what is out of balance in your career and in your home life. So this energy is about balancing these two important areas of your life without ensuring that neither is neglected. This full moon could also see you letting go of any dreams and hopes connected to your career growth that no longer resonate as well. So with the nodal axis being activated, there is this shift into the direction that feels more true to your heart. Now, as we move forward, on the 10th, Neptune turns direct in Pisces at 29 degrees. So we've got a late degree and a retic degree, which creates that feeling of urgency to a certain extent. And this is happening in your area of relationships, unions, contracts, partnerships as well. So with Neptune changing direction, so yes, there is a shift of dynamic, change of energy, change of mindset. And this energy could manifest as a potential to bring more peace and harmony into any difficulties you may have experienced in this area of your life in the last few weeks or months. So that would be your relationships, of course, if you experienced any misunderstandings with others, any miscommunications with your partner. Neptune stationing direct can help you to find more clarity. It can help you to see certain situations through very different lights, simultaneously creating more harmony, more mutual understanding within your relationships and partnerships. Now, on the 15th, Mars enters Capricorn, and this is a sign of its exaltation. So really strong and beneficial placement for Mars. Mars is the planet of action, drive, motivation, but also passion. So here this transit is going to activate your area of creativity, children, romance, the creative self-expression. So lots of dynamic energy here in the earthy sign of Capricorn, connected to ambition, lasting energy. So with Mars in Capricorn, your 5th house, this is a chance to build something lasting, whether this is a new routine at your home, or perhaps whether this is something to do with your parenting style, or an important project, business, freelancing goal that you want to reach. Here, Mars in Capricorn brings a lot of drive and courage and passionate energy that can help you to work towards something of a lasting nature, especially since here Capricorn and Virgo connect by a beautiful trine. So it's a harmonious alignment here, whatever energy planet point it touches in your 1st house. Now we end the month with a new moon happening in Sagittarius at 28 degrees. degrees, so another late degree, but this time of a lunation, which creates that feelings of urgency, in a way. But at the same time, Sagittarius, this is your area of home. This is the area of family, your roots, your emotional foundations, emotional security, tranquility as well. New moons are connected to new beginnings, so this could indicate a brand new chapter in your home life, in your family life, for example. Now, at the same time, this lunation could also indicate the beginning of a major renovation, or perhaps a moving process if you're thinking about moving, relocating. Now, whatever the scenario, we've got quite a bit of a few challenging alignments. So first of all, a square to Saturn, which could bring potential delays, setbacks, the need to review or perhaps restructure what's out of structure. There's a square to Neptune, which is very tight, which could indicate a potential confusion or a lack of clarity, lack of a clear sense of direction. So here, proceed with caution, but at the same time, expect that there could be delays. But it doesn't mean you have to give up. It just means you might have to allow extra time. Extend your timeline, for example. Now, fortunately, Venus is around this new moon as well, which brings a lot of supportive energy for generally for making these dreams, these plans a reality. So thank you very much, Virgos. I wish you a wonderful month ahead, and let's have a look at the next sign. All right, so hello Libras, and welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. All right, so here we start this brand new month with a full moon in the sign of Gemini. So here we've got changeable energy as we begin this brand new month, happening on the 4th at 13 degrees of Gemini. So have a look if you have any placement at around 13 degrees of Gemini, give or take 3 degrees Sagittarius or Pisces or Virgo, because you will be under greater influence of this full moon, the energy of the full moon. So full moons tends to bring what was hidden, misunderstood into light, up to the surface. But also with the full moon, this could be a turning point. So first of all, where is this happening? This is happening in your area of travel, in your area of foreign travel, foreign places, higher learning, immigration related matters, astrology, the 9th house rules matters connected to astrology, personal growth, development, as well, higher education. All right, so here full moon. So think about what happened in your life, what you started, what you initiated around 18 months prior to this full moon, because during a full moon, usually this is connected to a major turning point, change of direction, a culmination, major revelations, decisions you might be making in regards to these themes. All right, so first of all, we've got a really interesting square to the node. So the full moon squares both the south and the north node, which also gives this full moon a karmic undertone. Generally, events, situations, conversations during this time could feel fated and destined as well. So for this reason, for many Libras, this full moon could manifest as generally a moment when you realize what's out of alignment in terms of the direction that your life is heading. The 9th house is connected to your purpose, your life purpose. So here, with the nodes being activated at this time by the full moon, you might be letting go of something that has fulfilled its purpose and no longer resonates, no longer belongs, whether this is your belief system that is shifting, whether this is your career direction, whether this is some major plans you had for yourself, for your life, for your educational journey. This will depend on your circumstances. But here, very often with the nodal axis being activated in the 9th house energies, we are kind of shifting and realigning our path, or we have an opportunity for doing so at least. Now, as we move forward on the 10th, Neptune stations direct at 29 degrees of Pisces. Pisces is a water mutable sign. So where is this happening? This is happening in your 6th house of everyday life, everyday routine, your work, and also your health, well-being overall. So here with Neptune changing direction, any planet that changes direction from a retrograde to the direct motion, this indicates movement, a forward movement, things starting to move forward. And this is we've got weeks left of Neptune in Pisces as well. January, February next year, we've got this major shift as Neptune and Saturn move into Aries. And then we are just going to feel the build up towards the Neptune and Saturn conjunction. All right, so that's early 2026. But in the meantime, while Neptune stations direct in the sign of Pisces in your area of the 6th house, this energy can generally indicate clarity, coming back. And overall, this energy brings more clarity and brings more precision, ability to kind of introduce new routines and habits into your daily reality, so that things move more smoothly, more consistently as well. So so generally on a subconscious level, this event, this energetical shift could bring some new ideas, new insights into these areas of your life. All right, so on the 15th, Mars moves into Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation. So a really strong placement for Mars, the planet of action, drive, motivation, courage, passion. Now, this is happening in your area of the 4th house. So movement, action, an amazing time for DIYs, for home improvements, home renovations, for decluttering, especially here, December, if you're celebrating Christmas, you might feel like you want to get on with home-related tasks, activities, those DIYs that I mentioned earlier. It's a good time for generally rearranging your home and things that generally need work and you've been delaying, putting away. Now Mars is going to push you to take action and to deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. So that's Mars in Capricorn in your 10th house. And finally, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 20th of December at 28 degrees. So a late degree of illumination indicates a feeling of urgency, a certain degree of impatience, happening in the air as well. However, this new moon squares Saturn and Neptune. So if you rush too quickly, then you will likely see unfulfilling or frustrating results because there could be delays and setbacks during this time. You might have to implement more effort. You might have to perhaps implement a slightly different approach into how you do things during this time because we also have a square to Neptune. So things might not as they seem. Make sure you clarify everything before committing, and don't get discouraged if things don't work out the first time around. No, this is happening. This is happening in your area of communication, in your area of movement. So this could be connected to you having to make an important decision. This could be connected to some new opportunities, learning potentials even. Here with the 3rd house activation, speech, movement, communication, exchange of information is very much the case. But here with the squares to Neptune and Saturn, sometimes more energy, different strategy is needed, different approach. But at the same time, this could be connected to a new social media account and perhaps new podcast blogging, even anything to do with words, communication, learning, studying. But at the same time, we also have Venus circulating around this new moon, your ruler, which is a really positive energy because it can stabilize whatever that you work on during this time, and it can bring harmonious energy that can stimulate growth as well, new opportunities. So thank you so much, Libras. Have a productive month. And now let's have a look at Scorpios. Scorpios, welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So I'm repeating this sentence in every single horoscope because it helps with the algorithm, by the way. All right, so here we start the month with a full moon in the sign of Gemini. So here, mutable, changeable energy as we begin the month. And here, Gemini is a sign of duality. So very often with the full moon in Gemini, or sometimes we need to decide between two different scenarios, two different paths. And this could be the case for you as well. This is the area of the 8th house that's activated. So this is the area of money that comes through others. So perhaps investments, taxes, for example, inheritance, anything to do with inheritance, for example, as well, bonuses, some government schemes. And also anything to do with deep emotions, deep feelings, emotional, financial entanglements, and transformation, shared and joint resources as well. So for many people here, at least in England, it could be connected to tax return. You might be dealing with your tax return in the month of December, because of course we've got the 2nd and the 8th house. The money houses are activated by the lunations. But also during this time you might find yourself settling a payment, completing a final phase step of a contract. Maybe you're getting here into a new business partnership. Maybe you're starting a new project, gig, business, whatever it is. For many Scorpios, there will be some financial opportunities coming up in December, especially here with the 2nd and the 8th house. Now, something interesting about this full moon is that this full moon connects to the north node and the south node by a square. So whenever we've got an activation of the nodal axis by the lunation, like here by a square, there's often a karmic undertone connected to a lunation. So here, this full moon in this case scenario. So we've got some karmic essence, destined. Something could feel destined. So you might feel like, all right, this is it might feel like it was meant to be, this kind of vibe. This could also indicate a potential turning point in your financial priorities, in your financial situation. All right, so as we move forward on the 10th, Neptune stations direct in the sign of Pisces at 29 degrees. So here we've got a few more weeks of Neptune in Pisces until Neptune enters Aries in the second part of January. So here the 29 degree, of course, is an anaretic critical degree, which here with that 29 degree, very often we feel like we are running out of time. There is this feeling of urgency in the air. And at the same time here, this is happening in your area of personal projects, self-employment, freelancing, creativity, romance, children, self-expression. I'm not sure if I already said that. But here, whatever the scenario with Neptune changing direction from the retrograde to a direct motion, this is without a doubt a forward motion, a forward momentum, if you will. And what this energy signifies, this event, it signifies a clearing of confusion, fogginess that you may have experienced in regards to your love life, in regards to your business, in regards to your parenting style, for instance. Your Neptune stationing direct brings a much needed clarity, but at the same time, here in these final weeks of December into these first couple of weeks of January, you've got this final opportunity to complete anything that needs an urgent attention in regards to the matters related to the fifth house energy. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, creativity, self-expression, your business, any hobbies, interests, your parenting style. Here Neptune brings a lot of inspiration, a lot of intuitive energy as well. All right, so here on the 15th, Mars enters Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation, a very strong placement for Mars, the planet of action, motivation, drive, courage. So here with Mars in Capricorn, this is your third house of communication, short distance travel, movement, anything to do with words, anything to do with exchange of information, podcasting, blogging, and so on. Here, Mars transiting your third house gives you a boost of confidence when it comes to your communication style, self-expression. Capricorn is an earth sign, a very ambitious, determined energy. So during this time, you can achieve quite a lot as long as whatever you work with in regards to your mindset, in regards to learning and communication, as long as it's got structure here. Capricorn is connected to structure, discipline, order in combination with Mars, the planet of motivation and drive. This energy can give a massive boost to your productivity, giving you a lot of determination to reach your goals and milestones. The only thing, watch out when driving. And you know what, I've just realized, because I haven't been driving for 2 years since I moved into this place where I currently live, into the south of England. I haven't driven for 2 years, and I'm planning to resume driving this weekend actually. And so I will definitely need to keep an eye on the Mars and Capricorn transit, because I have had a few incidents a couple of years ago. So definitely keep your speed at check. And of course, and then we end the month with the new moon in Sagittarius happening on December the 20th. And a new moon, of course, is connected to new beginnings and new ventures, new opportunities. And this is in connection to your area of money, your income, your skills, your self-worth, your personal value. So as I said earlier at the beginning of this horoscope, December is a month when many Scorpio rising individuals will have an opportunity for experiencing a sense of growth in their financial area of their life. We've got the lunation, the first full moon, and now the Sagittarius new moon activating the financial houses in your birth chart. So some new beginnings here are definitely on the horizon for you. And whether this is a new revenue stream, whether this is a side hustle, a new business, a new client, or perhaps this is connected to you changing your mindset, your approach into wealth, into money, into your relationship with money. Now, having said that, this could also indicate that you might be making a major purchase around this time. But whatever the scenario, this isn't a straightforward new moon. We've got a square to Saturn and a square to Neptune. Especially the Neptune square is very, very tight. And a square to Saturn can bring delays, setbacks, perhaps a situation when you need to change your strategy, perhaps a situation when you are going to experience some delays. Maybe whatever you'll be working on will require more energy, more effort. Neptune can bring cloudiness, uncertainty, and self-doubt. So something to definitely watch out for, and to have a full clarity, especially before engaging in some financial activities, projects. And don't give up if things don't work out the first time round. Keep on going. This is something that you really care about. But remember, Venus is also circulating around this new moon. Venus brings stabilizing energy, also a lot of supportive vibe that can help you to get through whatever comes up around this time. So have a wonderful month, and let's have a look at Sagittarius now. Sagittarius, welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So here, this month we start with a full moon in full moon in Gemini. So just to let you know that this month is quite quite significant for you. I think there'll be a lot going on, especially with the new moon in Sagittarius in your sign, but also as we begin this month, we've got a full moon in Gemini, and Gemini is the sign that is opposite your sign. So with a full moon in Gemini, the sun, the solar point is in your sign. This is happening on the 4th of December at 13 degrees of Gemini. So here, a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in the opposing signs, and here the full moon is fully illuminated in the sky. Now this full moon illuminates your area of relationships, contracts, agreements you have with other people. This is the area of one-to-one connection, so you versus others. And during a full moon in the 7th house, very often the relationships, we learn about ourselves through interactions with others, through the situations that emerge in our immediate connections. So generally, this could be about a mutual project, a project you've been working on with another person, reaching a culmination, a turning point. But at the same time, during this full moon, you might gain a much needed clarity about an important relationship in your life. So whatever the scenario, this full moon connects to the nodal axis by a square, which is a tense energy. We've got a square to the south node and a square to the north node. So in the evolutionary astrology, we would call it skipped steps. But here in the full moon case scenario, we attach a karmic meaning and karmic undertone to the essence or to the meaning of this full moon. Now, with both nodes being activated, this is also about moving away, letting go, releasing some unrealistic expectations you may have of others, of your relationship. Simultaneously, this full moon could also help you decide whether your relationship or your important connection is heading in the right direction, or perhaps whether something needs to change, whether something needs to be discussed. So for this reason, destiny or some fated energy may play a really important role in this process. Now on the 10th, we've got Neptune stations direct in Pisces at 29 degrees. So here, the 29th degree is a critical anaretic degree, which creates that feeling of urgency, like you're running out of that time, and now we're never feeling. And of course, once Neptune stations direct, it will move towards Aries. And these are the final weeks, couple of months of Neptune's stay in Pisces in our lifetime. So this is a huge deal because for many, it could manifest as having to deal with a situation that is about to completely change its direction, for example, especially with that anaretic degree of the 29th degree of Pisces. So just to clarify, this is happening in your 4th house. And with Neptune turning direction, this energy could bring a lot of clarity. It could help you clarify confusion related to a family or a home-related situation. Neptune stationing direct could also make you generally could awaken or stimulate this really strong inner need for grounding yourself, for building a home or a home base that feels emotionally stable, that feels emotionally nurturing. So this is about rooting yourself. It's about building a place that feels like home. And if it doesn't, then for some Sagittarius rising, here questions may arise. What home really feels to you, and where is home? So generally here the question of roots might come into light, but at the same time here, or the meaning of home, but with Neptune regaining its strength, would get a much needed understanding of where you're supposed to be, or how you're supposed to achieve a sense of emotional fulfillment. Now on the 15th, we've got Mars, the planet of action, motivation, drive moving into the sign of Capricorn. This is a sign of its exaltation, so a really strong and beautiful placement for Mars that brings a lot of determination and ambition as well here. This is happening in your second house, so it can also boost your confidence, and it turns your attention onto your focus overall, into your money situation, your income, your earning capabilities as well. So during this transit, so the second part of December throughout January, you might feel really stimulated and motivated to generally to improve your financial situation. Now, this energy could manifest potentially as new financial opportunities coming your way. Perhaps you might realize that you need to take a different approach to how you manage your resources and finances. So overall, this is an amazing transit for improving your financial situation, for finding ways that can help you to save more, to make your money to work for you. And at the same time, this energy gives a lot of determination, drive, and can make you feel very productive. If you have your own business, Mars in the second house can increase your sales, can help you to find different strategies, and it can help you to see what's working, what isn't within your business model. All right, but simultaneously with Mars in the second house, so watch out, because this energy also gives a tendency towards impulse spending. So that's also something to watch out for. And finally, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 20th of December at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. And this new moon is it's like a personal rebirth. It's about you. It's about your goals, your objectives, your life. And it's a time when you might feel like it's time to reinvent yourself. And you might feel stimulated and motivated to change your appearance, to change your look. It's a great time for creating a vision map. So it's all about you, about your goals, about your physical appearance, your style. Now, something I really want to mention also is that this new moon is not the most straightforward. It requires a balanced approach, maybe even a cautious approach, but don't give up. Because it will require some effort and energy, strategic thinking, planning, because we've got a square to Saturn here with the new moon square Saturn, so it could potentially bring some setbacks, delays. And we've got a square to Neptune as well, which could potentially create a sense of fogginess, a lack of clarity, for example, a certain degree of confusion. So don't commit into anything new unless you're fully clear about everything that felt confusing. And at the same time, don't give up if you don't see instant results of your efforts. Perhaps you might have to implement a different strategy or approach in order to get desired results, but doesn't mean that you have to give up if things don't work out the first time around, especially since we've got Venus circulating around this new moon, which brings a lot of stabilizing, harmonious energy that can help you succeed and see the light at the end of the tunnel. So thank you so much, Sagittarius, and let's have a look at Capricorns. Hello, Capricorns, and welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. So we start this brand new month with a mutable full moon in the sign of Gemini happening at 13 degrees of Gemini. All right, so here a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in a position. So we've got a full and a moon fully illuminated in the sky. Our intuition, our emotions are heightened. All right, so here with a full moon, very often here, that's your area of everyday life, everyday routine, your lifestyle, your work, and life balance is highlighted here. So very often with a full moon, this is connected to some shifts of energy. The new moon is connected to new beginnings, while full moons indicate a shift, breakthrough, revelation. if you will. All right, so we've got this full moon bringing into light the area of your everyday reality. So for many Capricorns, this could manifest as this strong need to change something in your daily routine. If, for example, something is out of balance, out of structure, it will become more visible, perhaps more irritating even at this time, pushing you to implement the necessary changes, to change your lifestyle routine. Perhaps you feel more aware of your health choices, your eating habits. The sixth house very often prompts us to be more productive, so self-improvement could be very much the theme. But at the same time, watch out for any tendencies connected to overworking, overextending yourself. With the solar point in your 12th house, is essential to take a break, take a rest, take some rest, get some rest when needed. All right, so here we've got a karmic undertone here. That's where I'm getting at, because the nodes are activated. They are at the same degree as this full moon, and they are 13 degrees of Pisces, the north node, and 13 degrees of Virgo, the south node. All right, so here, what does it mean? So here with the nodal axis activated, and in the evolutionary astrology, we would call it skipped steps. So here, this is about realizing that it's time to let go of something that is out of alignment. Maybe it's very comfortable, but it doesn't serve you anymore, whether this is some work habit or some kind of routine or anything else that doesn't serve your health, your well-being, your sense of productivity. So here, this full moon gives you a chance to let go, release, so that you make space for something more alignments to come into place. And at the same time, the events that occur around this full moon, for some, especially if you have any placements at around 13 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, the energies could feel fated, the energies could feel destined. All right, so then we've got Neptune. Neptune turns direct in Pisces at 29 degrees on the 10th of December. Whenever a planet turns direct from a retrograde motion, it's basically like waking up from a very, very long sleep. So it takes some time for this planet to regain its strength, but at the same time, this is a forward momentum. We're not going to sleep, we're waking up. So we get regaining our strength, the clarity that you may have lacked, especially regarding any contracts, decisions you have to make, anything to do with communication, your relationship with your sibling or siblings. So here you're regaining the clarity. Maybe if you feel like you want to delete social media, get yourself off social media, but you were unsure. Now Neptune stationing direct at 29 degrees, which generally indicates that feeling of urgency and the now or never feeling could help you to make a decision. But overall here, Neptune in direct motion also promotes or facilitates the ability to form deeper connections with people from your immediate environment, especially people with whom you really click. Any misunderstandings that may have occurred recently, also we had Mercury retrograde in November, they will generally begin to ease. So here Neptune will help you to clarify things that perhaps were not fully clear. And on the 15th, we've got Mars. Mars moves into Capricorn. Capricorn, this is the sign of its exaltation. So a really, really strong placement for Mars. Mars, the ruler of Aries, the co-ruler of Scorpio, is connected to determination, action, passion, impulsivity even. This is happening in your first house, in your sign. Mars is moving into your sign. So this is huge because Mars in the 12th house in Sagittarius throughout the month of November could have generally, very often with Mars in the 12th house, we tend to have a lot going on, but we don't always have enough energy to deal with the external world, the external energies, influences. And for this reason, we tend to withdraw and feel drained more often than usual. But with Mars in the first house, Mars is out there. It's in our first house, the area of the self. So here you've got the energy to deal with the external world, with other people. There is more energy, eagerness, motivation to reach your goals, to reach certain milestones as well. So it's an action-oriented energy that can help you to make progress in your life. But here, even though Mars can make you more confident, more assertive, also make sure that you maintain a balance, especially here in your interactions with others. If things are becoming too heated, maybe step back, take a break instead of involving yourself in something that could escalate into an argument. Now on the 20th, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius. So a new moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in the same sign. And this is the beginning of a new lunar cycle. Now, this is happening in Sagittarius. So we still have that 12th house vibe a little bit with this new moon, a little bit of introspection, withdrawal, but it's very different because Mars is now in your first house. So even though the 12th house is activated, maybe, you'll need these 2 to 3 days to kind of take it easy. Take it easy. If we do too much during the 12th house lunations, we can reach a burnout. We can generally become demotivated. So definitely make sure that you spend some time on your own, because this is when you can fully recharge, gain clarity. Spend time in nature, do something that will nurture your soul overall. But at the same time, this is the beginning, the beginning of this new moon. This is the beginning of a new spiritual cycle for you. So an ideal time for healing, for retreat, for engaging in some healing activities, for reading, for writing, for generally diving deeper into self-growth, self-development related matters. Now, bear in mind that we've got a square to Neptune and a square to Saturn. The square to Neptune is really, really tight. So even though this full moon can be incredibly creative, it could also be rather introspective. And for this reason, it's essential to kind of spend time doing things that can help you to recharge, because especially with Saturn, you might feel or get easily drained if you take on too much. You absorb other people's energies easily during this time, as well as external influences. But at the same time, if you're going to engage or commit to something, make sure that you're clear about what is it that you're committing yourself into. Don't give up if things don't work out the first time around, because Saturn is in a square to this new moon, which can indicate some setbacks or delays, but it doesn't mean that things can be accomplished, because we've got Venus also close to this new moon, which brings stabilizing and harmonious energy as well, helping you to reach your goal, even though perhaps it might require a bit of energy. So as you can see, there's a bit of that behind the scenes energy, but overall, thank you very much, Capricorns. Have a great month, and let's have a look at Aquarius. So Aquarius, welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. All right, so here we've got a full moon as we start this brand new month, a full moon in Gemini, and this full moon activates your 5th house of creativity, self-expression, anything to do with art, hobbies, interests, the romantic side of our life, children. Now, full moons very often indicate a culmination, a turning point, a moment of completion, letting go, or a release. So this full moon could indicate that perhaps you'll be finalizing, completing a major creative project of some kind, or perhaps if you're a freelancer, maybe you're completing a gig of some kind during this time. Now, here on a different level, this full moon could also make you think slightly deeper about your love life, about the romantic side of your life. It could bring clarity, it could bring answers to questions that you may have had in November when Mercury was retrograde, the ruler of this full moon, which is now thankfully out of the retrograde phase. But at the same time, this full moon also makes you question your desires, your needs. Now this full moon connects to the south node and the north node by a square. So this indicates that there is a karmic undertone connected to the energies of this full moon. And generally, whatever happens around this time, whatever takes place, whether conversations that you have with others, whether any thoughts or especially things that happen in the physical reality, they might feel destined or fated, especially with the south node activated. And this could generally indicate a major turning point in the creative side of your life, in your parenting style, or perhaps in your love life. So this will highly depend on your circumstances. But as we move forward on the 10th of December at 29 degrees, Neptune will station direct in Pisces. So here, what this means is that when a planet stations direct from a retrograde motion, it's like waking up from a very long sleep. So initially the planet is not very strong, but slowly it regains its strength. And the 29 degrees, also called an anaretic or a critical degree, if you will. So it is karmic. It brings a sense of culmination. It brings a sense of urgency and now or never feeling. So soon after, in the second part of January, Neptune will enter Aries. So we've got the final weeks of this energy. And this is happening in your second house of your finances, of your income. Oh my goodness, you've so many months, you've had so many years of Neptune transiting this area of your life, and now Neptune is leaving. This will be huge for your money situation, for how you deal with wealth and finances. And I think Saturn was a really interesting experience, a major lesson in the second house. I've gone through this lesson myself a few years ago, so I know it's not easy and the budget can feel very tight. But here Saturn can especially with Neptune on the second house cusp, the money often seems to go in and out, dissolve. So with Saturn could have helped you to kind of implement the necessary structures, boundaries in this area of life. And here with Neptune stationing direct, this generally can really enhance and improve your ability to manage your finances, your financial flow overall. At the same time, this energetical shift can bring some really interesting opportunities in the weeks following the 10th for personal growth, for a greater sense of self-esteem or self-confidence. Now, on the 15th, Mars enters Capricorn. Mars in Capricorn feels fantastic. This is the sign of its exaltation. So a very, very strong placement for Mars. And Capricorn, this is your 12th house. So here, on the one hand, Mars in Capricorn is very strong and determined that you can make progress. However, the 12th house is the energy that's hidden, private. So this is a transit that is amazing for working from behind the scenes. So working in a team might not always be easy because you can really focus your energy if you work on your own in a peaceful environment. So if you work in a chaotic and loud environment, you will need to remember to take a break every now and then. Or generally with Mars in 12th house, we tend to absorb a lot of energy, and so we repress the anger, we repress a lot of kind of stressful energy. So you need to engage in activities that help you relax and recharge. Very often these are physical activities that are connected to Martian energy overall, but maybe this could be eating some really hot curry, or perhaps maybe this could be about singing, or anything to do with running, spending time in nature, even reconnecting with your inner self. So that's on the side note. But other than that, with Mars in the 12th house, it's a great time for working from behind the scenes on some really important projects. Of course, Capricorn gives a lot of determination, ability to build structures around these important projects. So you might be building a foundation of something that perhaps you might launch in the very near future. Now, the final event for this forecast is a new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 20th at 28 degrees, so another late degree of a lunation, a new moon, which is about new beginnings, fresh start, new energies. So here, this new moon activates your area of friendships, long-term projects, goals, objectives, anything to do with luck, good fortune, but also with other people. So whether your involvement in a new group, whether some networking opportunities, which is something that has become quite popular, popular now with Pluto in Aquarius, whether you're forming your own tribe, whether you're joining a new group or a club of some kind, or forming a new friendship. This will depend on your circumstances, but this new moon brings us an opportunity for expanding your social circle. Now we've got a square to Saturn and Neptune coming from the second house, so be cautious with money. With money, especially when it comes to perhaps investing your money or spending your money on some group projects. Make sure that whatever you get yourself into is something that aligns with your inner sense of self, and it's something that you can afford at this point in your life. But other than that, Venus generally is close to this new moon, so it brings a lot of stabilizing energy that supports growth, especially in the area of friendships or perhaps collaborations as well. So thank you very much, Aquarius. Have a wonderful month ahead, and let's have a look at Pisces. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your December 2025 monthly horoscope. All right, so welcome. We start this brand new month, and I just wanted to let you know that this month is going to be active, very active and dynamic, because we've got a lot happening in the mutable signs, and you are a mutable signs. So that's on a side note. But we start with a full moon in Gemini happening on the 4th at 13 degrees of Gemini. So here, Gemini is a mutable sign, and this is a mutable lunations. Full moons tend to bring clarity. They indicate a turning point, major breakthroughs, revelations. Now, this energy highlights your 4th house, the area of your home, your roots, where you come from, emotional stability, security in your life. So during this time, because a full moon connects to the new moon in the lunar gestation cycle, we would connect it to the new moon that took place around the end of May, beginning of June 2024. So during this full moon, you might be finalizing a move or perhaps resolving some family situation. Maybe this could be about completing a major renovation, for instance. So this will depend on your circumstances, but this full moon connects to the nodal axis by a square. So tense energy, and this indicates that there is an element of some karmic energy here, but also the event, situations, people that you interact with, especially people you meet for the first time, they could feel destined or fated. You might feel like, wow, it feels like we've known each other forever, or it feels like it was meant to happen. Now, having said that, with this solar point activated in your 10th house of career and professional life direction, here with this full moon during this time, you might also have to make some important decisions related to your career as well as to your life direction. Now on the 10th, Neptune, your modern ruler, stations direct. So there is a forward momentum whenever a planet stations direct from a retrograde motion. this is like waking up from a very, very long sleep. So initially the planet needs some time to regain its strength, but the energies are moving forward. So this energy enhances your intuition, enhances that sense of clarity, especially when it comes to your own personal goals, your identity, your sense of self. This shift of energy, and bear in mind, Neptune is on its way out from your sign. So there's a major shift also that is happening in the second part of January when Neptune moves into Aries, into your second house. So that will be a brand new journey, which you have had a little taste of this year already. But here with Neptune stationing direct, this energy will help you to feel more like yourself again. And this is when clarity, strength, a clearer sense of direction returns. But with the 29th degree, you could also feel like you need to accomplish something quickly before it's too late, because Neptune is leaving your sign very, very soon. So there could be this feeling of urgency to attend to a matter that perhaps you failed to address before, or failed to or a project you failed to complete. So this could be this sort of vibe energy resonating in these final weeks of Neptune's stay in Pisces. Now on the 15th, Mars enters Capricorn, the sign of its exaltation. So a really energizing energy entering your area of groups, friendships, your networks. So beautiful energy, because Mars in Capricorn feels absolutely fantastic, determined. This is a good time for engaging in networking activities. It could be a very social time, and this is around the festive season anyway. So this energy could mean that you will be attending lots of different work functions or events, festivities, for example. This is something that you celebrate. But on a different level, this energy could also indicate an opportunity to be a leader of a certain group or a project manager, or this energy makes you very ambitious to even form your own group, your own tribe. So for some, this could also manifest as a potential opportunity to engage in some community work. Now, whatever the scenario, because Mars can be quite dynamic, watch out for any unnecessary clashes with people with different points of view. If you feel like things are getting out of control, then perhaps it's better to just step back and move on, rather than overly engage and just to prove your point. All right, so here on the 20th, we've got a new moon in Sagittarius. Yet again, a late degree is activated, the 28th degree of Sagittarius, which also gives this new moon a flavor of urgency to a certain extent. New moons, of course, are connected to new beginnings, a new phase, a new chapter. This is happening in your 10th house. So you had Mars in Sagittarius throughout the month of November, and now there is a new moon. So perhaps this new moon could be connected to the work experiences that you've been through in November when Mars was in Sagittarius. But on a different level, this new moon could bring some opportunities connected to your life direction, professional life growth, development, maybe a new project, a new business idea, a promotion, some kind of recognition. Maybe during this time you will be reaching an important milestone. So here, this is all great, but something to remember is that this new moon forms a square to Saturn and also to Neptune, especially to Neptune, a very tight one, and to Saturn in Pisces, to a slightly wider orb. I think it's around 3 degrees orb, which is still significant. Saturn in a square can bring setbacks, delays. Generally, if we overcome a square, these energies offer a sense of growth, a sense of accomplishment. So Saturn overall could extend the timeline, or perhaps it could indicate that you need to supply more documents, or perhaps do some more research, for example. While Neptune could create a sense of illusion or confusion, self-doubt. So make sure everything is clear. If something isn't clear, ask questions. Don't give up. Don't let the illusions of that Neptune square to cloud your judgment, because we also have Venus circulating around this new moon, which brings a lot of stabilizing, harmonious energy helping you to succeed, to reach your goals. And overall, of course, with Venus transiting your 10th house at this time, Venus brings charm, and it can enhance your efforts and prospects. So thank you so much, Pisces, and all the best.